Hey YouTubers, I'm Parsha and welcome to the channel. So the most hyped and consistent question throughout the year on this planet is the iPhone. How the next iPhone gonna look like? So there are a couple of rumors out there, plenty of leaks, even from Apple. So to sum them up, to bring them up in one place, here we are. So let's get into it. So every year by September fall, we get a new iPhone. Last year we got iPhone 7 and iPhone 7 Plus. Not a major upgrade from 6S and 6S Plus, but yeah, it was still pretty decent. Who am I kidding? It was a disappointment, Apple. So speaking of this year, so there are rumors that suggest us that Apple might delay the iPhone launch due to the problems in iOS 11 beta, but I don't really think that they can afford to take that chance because this year is the 10th anniversary of Apple. 10 years of iPhone, people! So hopefully we will be getting the new iPhone in the second week of September. Speaking of iPhone, what magic does Apple have to play this year? It's their 10th anniversary. But yeah, let's look at their past and think about it for a moment. What they have done: bump up the specs, put a new chip, upgrade the camera, and call it the most powerful iPhone they've ever made. Yet, and just like that, sold. I mean, like literally, just like that, sold. Well, so if you ask me what they'll be doing this year, they'll be providing us with three flagships. One on a premium end, a little costly, probably more than a kidney. I have my doubts on liver. Two would be some mediocre iPhone, just spec bump what they've always done. So let's see what they'll call it. Maybe iPhone 7s, iPhone 7s Plus, or maybe the iPhone 8, which is the most probable, okay? But maybe there are rumors they might call it the iPhone X, the premium one, maybe. So let's see what happens, and finger crossed. So yeah, let's see how will the specs go this year. So the thing the people are most interested about, it's the design, it's the feel of the iPhone. So by the previous months, mock-ups, rumors, the design is pretty much the consistent. So it's the same back with a vertical camera and the flash in the middle, and in the front, it's the edge-to-edge display. With that kind of display, we can easily get 5.6 to 6 inches of display on iPhone 7 or iPhone 7 Plus, which is extraordinary. The previous iPhones have always had LCD display. And yeah, let's face it, OLED display is the future. We have already seen in Samsung phones that OLED display are more vibrant, they have pitch black, deep black, more contrast ratio. Yeah, OLED display are the best. So as far as resolutions go, we would love to see QHD display on an iPhone, but Apple is always trying to make their phone thinner and tinier, and considering the fact how small the battery is, 1080p display wouldn't be a brainer this year also. So that brings us to the home button. So the problem is, if you are going with edge-to-edge display, you gotta do something with the home button. So there are plenty of ways in which Apple could do this, but I'll just mention three of them. So number one, it's just like the Samsung Galaxy S8. Home button into the screen, fingerprint reader somewhere around the back. Just like this one. But the problem with this one is, that doesn't look like an iPhone to me. Does that look like an iPhone to you? No, it doesn't. That's not how iPhone feels. So chances of this happening, yeah, it's pretty slim. So the second way they could do this, it's the home button and fingerprint reader embedded into the screen. Now, that is pretty difficult to happen, but if you ask me, I want just that to happen. Like, I'm really dying to that happen. Like, it's just so fascinating to see, but it's just so difficult. To be honest, I'm not gonna say that technology doesn't exist, but it hasn't been implemented before in any device, so which makes it more difficult. But if you look at Apple, they have introduced things, they have implemented things, and they have done it perfectly in the first time. So I have my hopes high, and I just want this to happen. So the third way to go is home button into the screen and no fingerprint reader at all. That kind of sucks because Touch ID is a great part of iOS, but yeah, if you look at the rumors, there is something known as Face ID in the next iPhone. could be the face recognition. I mean, there are different biometric ways like iris scanner, 3D face recognition Apple could implement, but yeah, Touch ID is Touch ID, you gotta admit that. So these are all the major updates, all the major design changes in the new iPhone. So there are a couple of minor updates too, like the new wireless charging in an iPhone. Now we all know Apple is into removing ports and there is just one last port left in an iPhone. It's the Lightning port. So if you gotta remove what you gotta remove, you gotta get rid of Lightning port. And if you're getting rid of Lightning port, wireless charging has to be your thing. So with that being said, we can't really expect the next iPhone to be made out of metal because wireless charging cannot be done through metal. So it could be like Samsung Galaxy S8, all glass back, or God knows, a new material. So there are more couple of minor updates too, like the new hardware, the spec bump, the fastest A11 chip. But considering all that, there will be one thing consisting throughout the Apple event. And we all know that is Apple's favorite line, the most powerful iPhone yet. No pun intended. Speaking of RAM, we can easily expect 3 to 4 gigs of RAM this year in the new iPhone. New battery life improved, new optimization, Face ID, God knows what's gonna happen to Touch ID. Well, that basically sums up the whole video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends who wanna know all the iPhone rumors in just one place. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about the new iPhone, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Until then, may the force be with you.